I have my friend and client, Laura Wick, with me today, and we are talking about analysis paralysis, which I'm sure none of us have ever experienced. No,
Never, never,
no,
no,
never.
no. You just invited me on
I,
here.
I was just on a call with Laura and I was like, do you want to just come live with me and we can talk about analysis? She's like, sure, let's do it.
Why not?
All
Why
right.
not?
So let's dive into it. So how many times have you spent 3 hours researching the perfect project management tool instead of actually managing your projects? Or you rewrote a client proposal 5 times because you weren't sure that it was good enough? That is analysis paralysis. It costs us time, it costs us money, it costs us opportunities. And today we're going to talk about why we get stuck, what excuses we tell ourselves, and how we can take action to get past things when they aren't perfect. And so the first question I have is like, what is analysis paralysis? It's that state of overthinking and making decisions to the point where you take no action at all. And it's really common with people who are sort of starting up their own businesses because we have to wear all of the hats. We are the marketer, we're the accountant, we're the service provider, we're the tech support. And there's nobody making decisions for us. We're just scared of wasting money or wasting time on this sort of wrong choice. And we have all this pressure on us to be professional and polished and better than the competition. We get so much information overload from all of the different sources. And so we get into this really stuck place. And sometimes it's about too many options. And then other times it's about perfectionism, which is really fear-based, right? So I have brought my friend Laura on to talk about her experiences as well, because I know that she gets them too, and we all do, even if we're experienced business owners. So where have you experienced analysis paralysis? Where have you got stuck in all the details as opposed to taking action?
Oh, goodness. It's funny because I am actually very much, I'm a quick start. I like to go, I learn a lot through taking action. But it's definitely in, I think what you mentioned there, like the tech pieces, this like the behind the scenes formulas and funnels and stuff like that. It can, I can definitely get caught up in wanting to do it right, wanting to do it right the first time, wanting to do it right and have it all together and put out in the world. And I never have to touch it again. And so it's easy to get caught up in all of those details. Ironically, though, however, I mean, my whole program is body mind. And I think one of the best ways to break analysis paralysis is to actually get back into your body.
Oh, I love that. Tell me what that means to you.
For me, that means, well, so this idea, have we ever heard, change your thoughts, change your life, right?
Of course,
yeah. Right? So it kind of creates this idea that like, okay, if I have it right in my head, if I have all the information, if I have all the details, if I have it all figured out, then I'm going to go, once I have all of that, then I'm going to go do the thing that I'm supposed to do. And then I get to be who I want to be. And so it actually keeps us in a state of scarcity and lack. Now, studies have shown that changing the simple act of changing your posture, right? If you're kind of hunched over, if you're like, oh, like think about when you're researching all the things, you're like, right, we're in this like closed energy space. This sends a message to the brain that says, oh, hey, you don't feel safe, right? Like this is a very closed, protective energy to be in. So simply rolling your shoulders back, right? Feeling into your breath. I like to feel my feet. That's one of my ways to get out of my head. I'm sure we've heard the Superman pose, that if you hold that for 30 seconds to 3 minutes, what this does is it actually sends information from your body to your head, and it changes how you think. Like just sitting back and holding this, your brain says, oh, you feel more confident. Right? And it's going to start thinking in that new energetic alignment, right? So not that this is like the end all be all, but when I am in a state of fully in my head, I'm a ruminator, I'm a worrier. I come from a family of worriers, not warriors.
Hand wringers.
Yes. Yeah. What? When I just notice when I'm in my head, like the only way I can shift out of it is I first have to change my body. So that can be as simple as stand up, put my feet on the ground, take a breath. If I'm really into it, like go for a walk. I love to turn on music. And just that will get me out of the overthinking. And that's only step one, right? From there. Am I still going? This is just completely coming out.
I am so glad I invited you on.
Right. So yeah, before you sit here and overthink, how many of you overthink how to get out of your analysis paralysis?
Well, exactly. Like it's this cyclical,
Yes.
it's like this horrible, never-ending cycle. And you know what? It's often very fear-based, because I know that a lot of business owners that are starting out, they get stuck in learning mode because they think, I have to know all the things before I even start, because I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want people to think, oh, you started this and you don't know what you're doing. I don't want to make a mistake that's going to cost me money. I don't want to, right? And this fear-based perfectionism is really about something that we're scared of happening that may or may not happen and likely won't. And, we get so caught up in what are people going to say about me, or what are people going to think? Whereas the reality is, we have to beat people over the head just to pay attention to us, right? Like we will likely go out there and do a thing and then crickets, right? That's more likely to happen. And so the reasons that people get into this analysis paralysis is this fear of being wrong and the fear of being judged, but also just uncertainty. And we don't like uncertainty. Our brain treats uncertainty the same way it treats fear. And so if we think about some of the reasons that we give ourselves that keep us stuck and keep us in that learning trap, I know one of them is, I need more information before I decide. There's always another blog post. There's always another YouTube video. There's another expert opinion. And the reality is you probably have 80% of what you need to make a good decision. And you might spend weeks and weeks and weeks researching email platforms, and then we get stuck with too many options and we don't know enough with which to make a final decision. The truth is that you just need to start, right? You just need to start. What are some of the other excuses that you give yourself that keep you stuck?
I would say, I have a thought about your uncertainty comment that I'll put a ping in when you want me to speak to that.
No, go for it. Go for it.
So just a thing that I like to do in terms of like feeling the uncertainty, is I like to remember what I'm certain of in uncertainty.
Oh.
So I'm certain in uncertainty that I'm smart enough to figure out my next step. I'm certain in uncertainty that there's always another option. As long as I am breathing, there is always another option. Now, I don't know if that helps or not for the other thinkers, but I am certain I'm never stuck is the way that I like to say that, right? Because I think sometimes when there's like so many options, you're scared of making the wrong one and being stuck with it. I'm certain that I'm never stuck. I'm smart enough to figure it out, and I have enough to take another step.
And I'm certain that there's impermanence, right? Like
Yes.
what I know just from years of experience is that I can change any direction I move in. I can make any decision over again, right? And so that feeling like you're locked in once you make a decision is usually never true.
And I also want to say, I'm certain that I'm going to fail, and it's okay.
Interesting. So that's like, so the antithesis.
I'm an entrepreneur. I have to fail. I have to.
I love that. And I love that because we're always taught to be like, oh, false positivity. Now, what I will say is that there's a whole lot of value and benefit to intentionality, and that correlates to our success, right? I know and I can envision myself being successful. But the reality is that sometimes I'm just going to fail. I'm just going to fucking fail. And that's okay. Like, it's never going to like tank me, right? I'm never going to be dead in the water because I failed at something. I actually don't even really believe in failure. I
agree with that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. And when I say this, it's not like I'm certain I'm going to fail. And I'm a victim. I'm saying like, I'm human and I'm not going to get this right. And it's because I don't get this right that I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, and I'm actually going to find the opportunity that's there for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like it
And
releases this pressure of like, oh, I don't want to fail. Like, can I, so I'm going to say something else here. You know how people are like, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? Right. Sometimes I like to ask, if you knew failure was part of the process, what would you do?
that's right. That's the better reframe, because it's real and it rewires our thinking, right? Because to me, failure is not like, I don't even really see it. I just see it as good information, right? Like I did something and I got some good information, and now I know more so that I can continue my journey on a more effective basis. But if I just sit here doing nothing because I'm afraid, because I have analysis paralysis, I will never have that information and I will stay here. But if I try something and I move forward with it and I get here and I say, oh, now I know that my direction is actually over here, great, I'm further ahead. And I got further ahead because I actually took action and I took a step.
And I think what you're saying, just to really highlight this point, there is a part of the process that you cannot understand until you take the action. There is a certain data set that you will not know until you get into action. So the idea that you're going to get it all first and then do it is not true.
It's just not available to you, right? Like there's nowhere that you could do the research. There's no blog post out there that's going to give you that data and that information. The other thing I hear is like, I'm not ready yet. I'm always waiting for the perfect website, the perfect portfolio, the perfect skills. And your first clients are not going to come from perfection. They're going to come from action, from relationships, from referrals, from, getting to know people. And I always tell, all of our members, all of our students, like, you don't even need a website to get started. You don't need any of that stuff. You can launch tomorrow just as you are. And so this I'm not ready yet, I think, is just another form of fear in our brains saying, well, let's throw up another roadblock, because something that's exciting also feels the same in our brains as something that's scary, right?
Can I give you a bio thing for that?
This is why I have you here.
So 2 things. I'm not ready yet. I like to call this the mythical land of there, like of when, like the mythical land of when everything's perfect. Okay, when you get there, the mythical land of there, then what, right? So that's kind of like, when I'm ready. Okay, again, you're never going to be ready. But well, what was this? My thought just left the building. What was this last piece that you just said?
I don't remember, because it was 2 minutes ago.
It was. I know this is you and I are brains. Long day.
Yeah, it's the I'm not ready yet. But the truth is that you can move forward right now without anything.
Yeah. Yes. So, the biology, that's where I was going to go with this. And it actually relates to relationship. So my program is Body Mind Coaching, and we teach coaches and healers and professionals how to bring in embodiment into the coaching conversation. So yes, when it comes to fear and excitement, physiologically, you have, it's a very similar response in the body with one little difference. One little difference. When you are in a fear state, your cells, they constrict. Okay, so that puts you into the fight or flight, right? Where, the blood flow goes to like the vital organs, right? And it's going to make your thinking foggy. Like you cannot think in those states. But the excitement, it actually vasodilates. So this actually releases the oxytocin. So when you're excited, it actually promotes connection. So if you're in a state of overthinking and you're in that fear kind of overthinking rumination, again, put your feet on the ground. One of the best things that you can do to shift this is go connect with someone and get excited. Right? Like I think for new business owners, do not discount the fact of being excited about what you're doing and just telling people about it. People relate to your vision. They feel that connection. We have a whole thing where we teach people how to sell their pilot programs and then create it. Because you will actually create a better program when you are in connection with somebody and getting their feedback and responding to their questions, instead of trying to imagine the 50 million things that any person could ever ask inside of your offer or program or product. Like if you just bring a handful of people through, it builds a better program. They will have an amazing experience. But I think just if you want to shift from that fear to excitement, it is all about connection.
Oh, I love that. And it's not something that you hear a lot. Certainly, like take action and go, build something, but connection itself being the thing that helps you get through that phase, I think is super important. The last sort of, crappy belief that our brains throw out there is this: everybody else seems to have it figured out, so why haven't I? And that can be really, really destructive, right? This imposter syndrome. I'm watching somebody else, and why would I even bother now? Because I see someone else doing the same thing. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think it's bullshit. Like, I will say this is probably one that if I did have it, this would be one that gets me a lot because, yeah, I hear the comparison. What do I think about that? I mean, I think it's bullshit. I just think that there's something in you. Like you have a lived experience, you have a background, you have a certain set of gifts and talents and education and experience that only you have. So even if somebody else is doing it, or somebody else is doing it a different way, or somebody else is out there speaking the same message, like there is still something that is here to come through you and your voice and only the way you can do it. And I have to admit, like, I'm a Gen X, I'm a Zennial, I think a Gen X millennial. Like I have this like weird, like I need to be professional thing from like the Gen X side of me, but then this like millennial, like I don't give a fuck, this is who I am kind of energy. And I like ride the line between the two of them. What's interesting to me about social media and being online right now is like people want real people. Like the more real you are. Now, this does not mean that you go and trauma dump on your business page.
Please don't.
No, but I think that like the more you can be yourself and show up in the imperfections, it's actually going to build a more loyal audience. Like they're going to love your imperfections, not all of the amazing things that you do or say are the perfect social media post.
And I'm one of these weird people. I actually don't know a lot of other people like this, but I just weirdly have never, ever had the gene that cares what other people think. I care about the people who are close to me and I care about my relationship with them. But if someone online doesn't like me or, somebody doesn't say yes to my proposal, like I actually couldn't care less. Like it just doesn't, I don't take it personally. It doesn't bother me. And so I actually don't spend any time watching what other people are doing because I just sort of think this is my version of it. There's enough clients out there for everyone. And if you don't do your thing in your way exactly, like please don't copy what other people are doing. Please don't try to emulate someone else, because the people that you really want to attract are the people who are going to look at you with your blue hair and your piercings or your whatever, your gray hair and your 70 or whatever. They're going to be like, that's the person for me. And you don't need 100 clients. You need like 3 or 4. So I just sort of think, never mind what everyone else is doing. It's none of your business. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you. It's like irrelevant. So I don't know. And so I know a lot of people do worry about this, and they get caught up in this imposter syndrome, and they get caught up in this like, analysis of what other people are doing and comparing themselves to it. And they try to emulate that, but it just doesn't serve you in your business. I mean, you built a business around something that was totally new, right? Like you saw the opportunity and you wanted to follow your own path, and that's what you did. And I think that works for you, and it gives you something really, really relevant and really focused to be able to speak to, which is good for selling, right?
Amen.
So how do we break free from all this analysis paralysis and get ourselves to start taking action? Well, I've got a few suggestions, and then if you have some more of them, hear them. Strategy number 1, I would say, is set yourself a decision deadline. So give yourself a time limit. I'll do research for 2 hours and then I'm choosing. Even like set a timer for yourself if you need to, and done is better than perfect. Strategy number 2, I would say, is this good enough standard. So ask yourself, will this get me 80% of the way there? If yes, move forward. You can optimize later. You can change your mind later. The minute that you realize that building a business is a continuum, and the myth that we're going to arrive somewhere and then it's going to be done and we're going to have gotten there, that thing that we keep trying to reach is just not real. Like, we are just an evolution of constant development. And so you can always change. You have permission to do that. It doesn't mean that you failed because you haven't arrived at that place. It's just not real. Strategy number 3, make smaller decisions. So break those big scary decisions into tiny action steps. So instead of the goal to be, I'm going to launch my VA business, start with, I'm going to send 1 pitch email today. And that momentum is what builds your confidence. Plus, it gives you that feedback loop where you get more and better information that allows you to build your confidence with the next thing. Strategy number 4, embrace that imperfect action. So your first proposal doesn't need to be perfect. Your first service package can evolve. Everything can evolve. And so the action is the important thing. Every time you do something, it teaches you something that none of your research is going to. And then my final strategy is to create an anti-bias ritual. So when you feel stuck, commit to that one small action within 5 minutes. So as an example, send an email, post the content, schedule the call, whatever it is that you're working on. That action creates clarity that thinking is never going to. What else would you add?
I mean, those were amazing. I'm going to go back because I always bring the embodiment part of this.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's just to remember the fastest way to get out of your head is to get back into your body. So feel your feet. I mean, if anybody does any tapping, that's a great tool to come back into your body. If I'm on a meeting on Zoom, I will often squeeze between my thumb and finger. So just ways to come back into your body, change your body posture. Literally, it will change how you think. It'll change the energy you think from. I think the other thing is I just want to reiterate the small actions. So for the longest time, getting to the gym was a goal of mine, but it's cold outside. There is always an excuse, right? And I have to work on this project. Really think about what's the smallest action that can move the needle for you. So my goal would be to put on my gym clothes.
And right? Sometimes getting to the gym means you just sit there and you stretch.
Yep, I have done that. I have also gone to the gym and sat in my car, but I went, so it counted. So I think those small actions are really good. But the other thing that we like to say inside of Body Mind, we like to say explorement. So do a tiny experiment to let you explore in the possibilities. So it's nothing especially in your business, nothing in your business is ever final. I mean, never. There's always going to be a place to grow. And I think the other thing that just pops up as I'm talking is, like Stephanie was saying, really break it into those smaller actions. But sometimes if I have a high fact finder that I'm working with, I might say, hey, what are the 3 things you need to know to take 1 step? Because a lot of analysis paralysis is I need to know all the things for all the steps, right? Yeah. And so it just, instead of, okay, what are the 3 things that you need to know in order to take the teeniest of tiniest of next steps, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so go, take your 2 hours to go find those 3 things and then take the next step.
Yeah. And this illusion that these experienced business owners know everything already is bullshit. Laura, you and I have been doing this forever. And there's still stuff I don't know. And I still
feel like a newbie. I'm like, what?
I'm just experienced enough to know that I just start. I will jump in and I'll just take some action. I'll just start. I will do something. And then that gets me a little bit further ahead. But that, that perception that everybody's got everything figured out. No,
that somehow Stephanie did something magical before starting this live to have it all together. Literally, I think your little micro action was you told me on our call, I need to go live, that was your accountability. You kind of held your feet to the fire and did it.
But so there's so much about being a business owner that is self-awareness. And I host another podcast with two other guys, and almost every episode, like, it's about founders and founders starting businesses, and almost every episode comes back down to how important it is to have self-awareness. And what I know about myself is I actually really despise going live and not talking to anybody. So just talking to a blank camera, I don't know why. I'm not shy, I'm not worried. I have all my scholarships were in theater. Like, I had no problem performing, but there's something about the dynamic and the energy of not having someone to converse with. And so Laura and I were on a call, and I was like, I'm not going live. And every time it comes up every week, I'm like, why? I don't know. But then I was like, you have to come live with me. And she's like, okay, let's do it. Now I love it. And there's so much more energy. And it's, what I'm realizing right now is that I need to turn these lives every week into a podcast, into a show like this, into having somebody with me. And it's just such better energy for me. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up. So let's review. Analysis paralysis is not about being lazy or indecisive. It's about being human, which we all are, and we all get stuck there. As freelancers and virtual assistants, our income depends on action. So you've got to develop this muscle, this habit of staying in action. And, for those of you who have been with us in our program, you'll hear it all the time for us. The 3 pillars of your success are to stay in consistent action, decide and commit, and stay supported, right? So those 3 things are going to keep you out of this analysis paralysis. The clients who pay us aren't looking for perfect. They're looking for reliable, proactive problem solvers who get things done. If you're speaking to a client and you say, I don't know the answer, but I'd be happy to find it out for you, I would rather hire that person than someone who stumbles and bumbles through and tries to pretend that they do. So right now, I want you to think of one decision that you've been overthinking. Just one. I'm sure you got lots, but just one. And in the comments, tell me what that is. And commit to taking one small action on it within the next 24 hours. Not perfect action, just action. Get inside your body. Do the things that Laura has talked about today. And remember, the only decision that's truly wrong is the one that you never make. So stop the researching. Start doing. Your future clients are waiting for you to show up. Messy, imperfect, and ready to serve them. Last words, Laura? Anything?
I live by feel your way forward, let it be messy. And you will create something better than you could ever imagine. And honestly, the business and the life that is wanting to come through you, it is better than you can imagine. So get out of your own way and start to get out there.
Yeah, don't put this boundary. Don't put this roadblock in front of you.
Don't. I mean, I could have never imagined what Body Mind was going to become when I started it. All those years ago. I just had a nudge and I took a step. So don't forget that there's something bigger beyond what you could ever analyze your way to.
That's right. And it starts with just one.
Just press the button.
Okay.
Press the button. All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.